You already know who it is. I'm back again with Love's Art 23, and this time we're just going to go over the songs of Has Hotel because for something that proclaims to be a musical, very musical inspired, it's kind of just not giving musical when you listen to the songs outside of the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because in my experience, I have actually seen a few musicals. I don't go to a whole lot of musicals as much as others, but I've seen a musical I love called Love's Labor's Lost. I've seen it at least twice. I've listened to the soundtrack in isolation. I can listen to the soundtrack without any context of the scenes in between the songs and completely understand the story because the songs do a great job of basically, telling the story.
Yeah.
That should be the basics for any musical, but for Has Been, it's kind of lacking in that territory when you listen to the songs isolated from the show and the context, you know?
Yeah. Which I guess isn't too bad of a thing considering the fact that like a lot of animated musicals are like that. You can listen to any show that has songs in it and be like, "Oh, this is a good song to listen on the drive to work or whatever," but I'm not going to have flashbacks of when it was in the show, you know.
No,
But
right.
there
So we're
will be
gonna
songs. Sorry. Hmm?
oh sorry. I was gonna say we're gonna go song by song and see
Hmm.
what works, see what doesn't. And just talk about some of the songs we like because there are songs in the playlist I do like, but when you
Yeah.
think about it, it doesn't work narratively. Like, that's the thing about Has Been Hotel. Has Been Hotel, and I feel like has Hell of a Boss too, it's a great show when you don't think about it too much.
Well, heck yeah.
So, first song, Happy Day in Hell, primarily sung by Charlie.
Yeah. I Okay, that song is 50-50 with me because, Charlie is the main character and the main musical person of the show.
Mhm.
Anyone who's seen the pilot or the live streams will know that Charlie is the front runner when it comes to musical theater. So it makes sense for her to sing the song by herself in the beginning because that's her introduction song and what tells the audience, oh, Charlie likes to sing, so it makes sense for her to do that. It is somewhat of a musical number because eventually further down when Charlie is like singing and then the crowd gets involved, then that's great. It's just the visuals kind of take away from the musical aspect because we have that background where it's just the character standing in nothingness.
Nothing but sheet music behind them, which is a cool visual. And if I could remember how to read sheet music, I can't tell whether or not how accurate that is to the song, but it's alright.
Yeah, like it's a really pretty visual, don't get me wrong. However, if we're doing musical styled stuff, you might want to like actually have background characters moving and going along with it. Yeah, they're going along with what Charlie's singing, but they're just standing there. No one's dancing, no one's like there's not enough theatrics to really 100% call it a musical number.
Mm.
I mean, it is a musical. I mean, she is singing, she is moving some of the plot along. She's mostly just doing an introduction song, explaining like hell and, what she wants and all this other stuff. And then there's Vaggie, who I don't know why they didn't have her redo that voice line, but whatever.
It's
Like
a
it
bit
is
of
still a good song.
Yeah, it's a bit of an I want, but also a good world building introduction to hell. Visually, I like the visual contrast of hell being hell
Yeah.
and Charlie singing and being so upbeat on her way. But again, with the whole, I'm gonna tell heaven, here's my plan, here's what I'm gonna do. Girl, you haven't even redeemed angel dust. You have no evidence that this will even work, but whatever anyway, just throw caution into the wind there.
Yeah. Which I don't mind that about Charlie. I wish the other characters had pointed that out to her more because she is supposed to be the naive, you know, go-getter kind of character that like thinks that this is going to be easy when it's not. And it's like I wish more characters had pointed that out to Charlie like this is not going to be easy. You're going too fast. You're not letting your lessons sink into the characters, but you know, That's just my hang up with Charlie and the cast overall. I think Charlie's fine. Charlie's perfectly fine on her own. She's doing what she needs to do. It's the other characters who are not giving.
Right. I think Charlie, I don't know if it's with the sound mixing or whatever, but Charlie sings over Vaggie's parts. Like when Vaggie is like singing that the angels are bloodthirsty and deranged. I had a hard time hearing Vaggie over her.
Yeah, and that's the part where I'm like, why didn't they have her redo those notes? Like they're because later on when we hear Vaggie's two other songs, she can sing. She does have a singing voice. It's just a little higher pitched. It's like, why didn't you have her come in and redo that?
Honestly, I kind of wish that this song was a bit of a duet with her and Vaggie, of like Vaggie being like more the pessimist, realistic one, and Charlie just being the optimist. Again, showing more of their chemistry and dynamic.
Yeah, because even in the pilot, this is where I like can constantly compare the pilot to the first episode because there's so many reuses of the pilot in the first episode. As you've noticed, Charlie is the one to start off the episode with the song. She's the first one to sing the song. Just like in the pilot, Charlie was the one to sing songs. So she had two songs in the pilot. But when she's at the television station, she starts singing, and you see Vaggie go, "Oh no," and like it works really well in that scene because we have them talking in private, like, do not sing. The world isn't cupcakes and rainbows. You know, we have Vaggie going into like how their dynamic works, how Vaggie understands that Charlie likes to sing and go crazy, but she's like, just for this moment, I need you to rein it in and be professional. And Charlie's like, I'm gonna try. But in this one, you know, Charlie gets the phone call and then immediately starts singing. She completely ignores what Vaggie has to say. And it's like, if you've not watched the pilot, then you have no idea what their dynamic is about this whole situation. You're just seeing Charlie immediately go into song. And it's like, the buildup is there. Like, the buildup is there because it's, you know, it's Charlie. But, like, the subtle details of their conversation and their dynamic with each other is not there anymore because they don't actually have a conversation. They just immediately go straight into the song. Oh, my pin.
Yeah. Like, other than that, I think all the singers do a great job. I feel like in some cases that they're holding back, but then again, Broadway singers and just performers in general who are used to performing on stage, that's a different medium than like in a microphone. You can't well, I mean, you could, but like you can't really belt out in a mic the same way you can on stage.
Yeah. Yeah, because I have a lot of soundtracks from a lot of musicals that I have seen that I liked because, you know, I want to listen to the songs on my way to work or whatever. But I have noticed that there is a difference between listening to actors sing on stage or like in the movie that they're in versus the CD that I have because I'm like, these sound completely different. Obviously, there's like some tone changing and some characters were taken out, but it's like this is a little different from what I heard in the movie or the musical itself. Like, there's a difference, and I kind of miss the actual performance on stage. That's what I want versus the CD version, which is just, you know, it loses some of its like rawness or specialness that comes from it. And that tends to happen a lot with animated musicals because, like, you know, if you go back and listen to some of Rebecca Sugar's songs, like when she's singing in public or when she's like doing a live stream or whatever, she's really good in the song. Like, it sounds so much more natural when you're hearing it from an actual person that's not recording it for an episode. You know, they're not rehearsing it over and over and over and over again to sound like the character, you know. So it's like, yeah, there's a bit of a it's what I've always had a problem, not a problem, I guess, but just more of like I noticed the difference. So I can tell that the Broadway performers are having a hard time because, you know, like you said, they're so used to doing it on stage. Like, yeah, they'll go in a booth and record if they're doing a movie or something, but you can tell there's a difference.
Yeah. And in that, I'm kind of like the opposite of just music in general. I prefer hearing the recorded over like the live like the like even performances, only very rare times do I prefer certain artists in person because to me they sound similar to that of in recording. I don't know. I think something with the sound mixing, I don't know, it's just better on my ears. But moving on to, oh my gosh, I love Hell is Forever. Oh my god, that is such a fun song. But oh my gosh, it's so fucking cool. It actually does serve so much narrative purpose.
It really does. That one is pretty much a musical number. It is serving a purpose. Everyone is involved, even though it's only three people. But like, yeah, it is a musical number. It's moving along like it's supposed to. Adam is giving us like information, but he's moving on with the information. He's not repeating himself over and over or like saying something that has no weight later on, like another song.
Yeah, like at the start, it's Charlie quickly giving the rundown of literally what she's been talking of, like literally what the whole first episode is just about. Sinners, the hotel, redemption. We heard it at least 5 times at that point. And
Yeah.
I like how he interrupts her and is like, let me give you the real, sweetie. Hell is forever. You guys are pieces of shit and you deserve to be there. And a little bit of like what Lute was talking about earlier in the episode of how angels don't make mistakes and angels and like everyone who's down here deserves to be down here, but like more so expanding on like you guys deserve to be down here and it's kind of fun for us to murder you again.
Yeah. It's good. It's pretty much the musical number that you want. Like, I don't think there's much wrong with it, to be honest, other than the first half. Tonally for me, I don't like the first half, mostly because a lot of the songs have the same kind of tone, and I know no one's gonna understand this but me because it's just my brain, my way of listening to things. But all the songs all kind of sound the same to me. I know everyone's gonna be like, "Oh no, but they're different genres." No, 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 no. To a degree, probably, but they all have underlining tones of pop. So even though Adam is doing like a rock number, there's so much like undertones of pop happening that I'm like, this isn't a full rock number. This is 100% like a pop rock kind of song. It isn't until the end when like the choir aspect comes into it does it sound like gospel rock, which is so good. I love the last bit so much. I wish they had kept that tone the entire time because I'm like, gospel rock is really good. I know a lot of people are gonna be like, what? It is. Gospel rock is so good. It goes so hard. Like, if they had done that for the beginning to the end, that would have been great because you have Charlie, who is mostly like theatrical pop. That would have been perfect. Like perfect combination. Like yeah, perfect opposites.
Yeah, that I get. And they're already like opposite in like personality and like opposite in virtues of each other, and it's surprising that someone like Adam gets to be in heaven while Charlie born and raised in hell and she's the way she is. But
Yeah.
no, yeah, I heavily agree with you. The chorus at the end and the clapping, oh, that was so good.
So good. Oh my god. It's like I wasn't vibing with the first half because I was just sitting there and I'm like, okay, I get it. They're doing like a pop rock thing. And then all of a sudden he starts doing that and I'm like, oh, this just got good. Okay. And then he kept it up and I was like, oh. And then the guitar solo was really good too. I loved the last bit. All of the last bit I really loved. Even the part where he kicks Charlie out. I'm like, this is such a good like ending to a song. It's just like, bam, we're done. Bye.
And then we get the information that, oh, the extermination's gonna come sooner than you think. Now that is good send off, good like, oh no moment of, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do now?
Exactly.
Very good, very good. Now, how do you feel about Stay Gone?
I'm ugh, I'm 50-50 with that song. Again, I wouldn't call it a musical number because it doesn't move the plot along like it's supposed to. Like not all musical numbers have to move a plot along, obviously.
Mhm.
You can have your random characters singing their thoughts out loud. They do that a lot.
You can have
Um
your cat eating song, like from Love's Labor's Lost.
yeah. Like you don't have to have certain musical numbers that move the plot along, but there should be like an undertone here and there.
Hmm.
But this song just felt kind of like just a song. It just felt like a song. Like there wasn't anything that we didn't already know because, or I guess for the audience, they don't like the newer audiences, they don't know the beef between these two. I know the beef between these two because I've been a part of this fandom for like 10 plus years now, so I already know. But I don't know. I like the beginning half where it was just Vox because
Yes.
this is our first introduction to Vox, so it's fun to see him running around and like, say everything's fine, I'm fine, we're fine, this is great, and and then get petty about it. It isn't until Alistair comes along and starts singing along with him. Am I like, nope, I'm not vibing anymore. I don't like this. And it's no hate to the VA. I know Viv wanted him specifically ever since the beginning, but I don't think he's giving as much energy as he should be. This is kind of a fight song. I'm using air quotes, you can't see it.
Oh yeah, I
And
feel that.
yeah. But
Oh,
it is
sorry.
like sorry.
I was gonna say I recently watched a video by Calexian Cares Too Much. I'm probably saying her name wrong, but I'll link it in the description and such. She did a great job analyzing like 3 songs from the series and Stayed Gone. And she's like a professional songwriter and such, and breaking down line by line and how
Mhm.
it is very, and upon reflection, yeah, it's very front loaded with syllables. Some of the rhymes are very loose to the point where that doesn't rhyme at all, or it's just skids by like handily and like family and handily, loser
Yeah.
possible. Those are not even slant rhymes, so those don't rhyme at all. And how there's like only two parts of the song where you can call it a song, because that's where they're actually singing, is like at the start with Vox and at the end with Alistair, because the in between is just them talking. It's not some people think that it's rapping. It's not rap, first of
It's
all.
not rap.
It's not rapping. They're just talking, quipping back and forth.
Yeah.
And that is possible in musical, but what they're doing, it's not in the way that you would do it performing in a musical, being quick, snappy, kind of like singing on the beat like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think I've seen the video that you're talking about. But yeah, I do agree with her
Yeah.
100% cuz I'm like it's trying to do something. I'm not sure what it's trying to do. Like in the beginning, it was kind of giving me like Hamilton vibes because of the back and forth and how fast paced everything was. But I was like, it's not enough.
Like it wants to
There's
be like the cabinet battles, right?
Yeah, it wants to be a battle song between these two characters, and it's not really doing its job. I feel like Vox is doing most of the heavy lifting because when you listen to Alistair, he's not fighting along with it. He's like passively aggressive, not interested, which is fine. But it's like, I feel what could have worked really well is if some of the rhymes were old school. Like, both of these characters are old. And I know Vox doesn't want people to know that, but he is old.
Hello, my fellow kids.
Yeah. It would have been nice to hear Alistair use old-timey slang, like 1930s and 20s slang, and then you hear Vox slipping up, or instead of having the same audio at the same time for both of them, because the audio starts with Vox and kind of ends with Alistair, but it's like a different tone. But we don't get that the entire song. We only get that at the end. It would have been nice if it would have been nice if as soon as Alistair came onto the scene, old timey jazz played in the background, like just a little bit enough to somewhat disrupt Vox's background song.
Yeah, like
Like,
if their music style of instruments would clash between if their instrumentals were to clash during like their back and forth, that would have been cool. And like slowly over the course of the song, Alistair's would take over, because by the time it gets to Alistair at the end, you hear like a harpsichord.
yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what I wish would have happened. Like, it's still a good song. There are a few things. It's small things, obviously, but I feel what could have elevated it is like the overtake. As soon as Alistair comes on, his style of music overtakes Vox's, because Vox's is again a pop version of, I'm assuming, tech, some kind of tech. I don't know. It's
I just
probably
wish she
pop
had
tech.
techno.
Yeah, I wish she had techno. I wish she had like dubstep, like techno and dubstep just blaring in the background, but
Yeah.
like honing it in a jazzy kind of way would have been cool. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I see what they were going with, the parallel of Vox starting the song of like, let's begin. I'm gonna make you wish that you stayed gone, as in
Yeah.
like threatening Alistair of like, oh, you're gonna wish that you never came back, and Alistair at the end basically flipping that of like, I'm gonna make you wish that I stayed gone, like I'm gonna be like, I'm a menace to you, and you're gonna wish that I actually stayed gone. That's cool. That's a really cool flip around.
It
It's
really
just
is.
the hurdles to get there wasn't it. I don't know.
Yeah. And it's so, I guess, disappointing in a way, because the start off is really good, especially when we get to Vox's line of his medium is getting bloody rare or whatever, which is a weird line in itself, but from the beginning to that part is really good. It's only when Alistair comes in does it kind of fall flat and then pick up again when Alistair flips it on Vox, but it's like Alistair is just reusing Vox's lines, so it's like, you're not doing your part here. Vox is carrying this whole song.
I personally just love the part where it's just Vox. I like the Vox exclusionary version, and that might be my Alistair bias talking. That is my Alistair bias talking. I don't care for this nigga. I really like Vox more. I love Vox more than I fear Alistair. And you know what? Even though this song established that, okay, they have a rivalry, cool. We don't see that revisited until the very end of the show, and that's just Vox watching Alistair get the crap beat out of him.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed with that too, because I'm like, we're getting this like somewhat pretty good song that's introducing this rivalry between these two characters, yet nothing comes of it. And then what really irritates me is they have the meeting afterwards, and Vox is like, we can't let Alistair make a deal with the princess. And that goes nowhere. He never says anything. He never, like, sends drones to make sure that that doesn't happen. It's like, okay, I guess he just forgot. Like, no.
And like the Serpentius plotline of him being a spy went nowhere, since like that could have been interesting for like a couple episodes or even like a little bit longer. I mean, the whole Charlie already made a deal with Alistair anyway, so that's kind of went down the drain. You know, this could have been rectified if the V's were actually season one's villains, since, you know, 2/3 of the V's have beef already with the main cast, so I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
And what's funny too, like, when we have the Serpentious thing, like, yeah, that could have lasted a couple episodes, but that also could have lasted the entire season. Like, Vox could have kept sending people over and over and over to the hotel, and each person that goes there is like, oh, I actually like it here. I'm not gonna tattle on you or
Yeah.
whatever. Like, he keeps getting foiled left and right, and it's like, this could have been a really fun season one if they'd focus mainly on Vox and the V's and having more characters go to the hotel. Which I know sounds really stupid, considering in a lot of my videos I'm like, there's too many characters!
No, yeah. But speaking of Sir P, I know you like the song. It starts with sorry.
It's a good song!
Okay. It is a very pretty song. I do like how they harmonize, and it actually is part of the narrative function, and Serpentius like realizing, oh, I can have a second chance. I can start over. And that is cute. That is sweet. It took me a few more times of listening of like, okay, I can get behind it. It's cute. It's sugary. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. It's cute, I guess.
But it is a musical number. Like, everyone's involved. Yeah, it's not really it's not moving the plot along for like obvious reasons, because this is a conversation musical. It's not really a plot-centric musical, which is important. I like when characters do have like conversations, but in musical form.
Oh, yes.
So I was like, this is I like this. I like how we're getting this, because when you compare it to Alistair and Vox, who are technically having a fight slash conversation song, it kind of goes all over the place. But when you have Charlie and Serpentius having a conversation song, it actually flows a lot better. Like the rhymes, the music, the fact that Angel and Vaggie are singing along, like they're incorporating their own thoughts to the conversation. It
Hmm.
is so sweet, and the visuals are really cute and pretty. Like it's simple, obviously, because this isn't like a theatrics kind of song. This is a conversation song, so everything's low light, really pretty background. Everything's slow paced, which is, I know a lot of people don't like slow paced musicals, but I do because I feel they're
Hmm.
important.
It
But I
is
just loved
very
it. I loved
cathartic.
it.
Yeah, I can see why. It's cathartic. It's a bit of a slow burn. It's really sweet, I guess. Yeah, I guess. I guess.
Yeah. And I
It's
know, like,
cute.
I know Serpentius's redemption is like speed running, but I like that, we're in episode 2. This is the start. This is the start of Serpentius, like, oh, okay, maybe I can change, or maybe we can start the change because it does start with Starry. Like, that was the whole lesson of the whole episode, and now it's like, oh, it's come full circle. Charlie started with her
Yay!
lesson thinking that, like, saying sorry immediately would fix everything. It doesn't. And I'm like, I like this. I like this because the song actually does carry over to the message of the episode where it does start. Like, it makes sense. It makes sense. I know no one really cares for this song, but I'm like, you guys don't see the details. You don't see the hidden things that are happening versus songs that are just being thrown in your face and going, look, you like it, you like it, you like it. Like, no, I don't like when you're shoving it in my face. I like to slowly get to the point. I want the full circle. I want the start to finish. I don't need a song thrown in my face just for
Hmm.
amusement.
Oh, true, true, true. You're really going to bat for this song.
I like it, because like it's not the only song, but like for me, this is the song that I'm like, okay, I can see where all the love and all the story that could have happened within the season could have been.
Hmm.
This is my version of the song where like this is what has been could have been if given more time and a little more editing on the script.
Oh yes, 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 yes. Because for some of the songs and the lyrics, it's giving first draft.
Yeah.
But
But this
ooh,
song isn't giving first draft to me. I'm like, there was a lot of thought put into this. Someone
yeah.
put a lot of thought into this. And I love it. And I like that the voice actors are actually, you know, ranging with each other. Like they're both on the same level. They're both singing as their character, which later on a lot of characters just really drop the ball on that one.
Mhm.
you know, everyone is at their A game. I feel like this is like A tier. Everybody's doing really good. The animation is really good. I just think it was good.
All right. So on that note, you want to talk about Respectless?
Oh my god.
I Oh my gosh, that was when the first few episodes came out. None of the songs really stood out to me, but then Respectless came, and I was like, "Yo, I fucks with this one. This actually slaps."
I know. I like it too. Like I can listen to it in the car and be like, "Yeah, this is good song." But then like when the actual musical part kicks in, I'm like, "Oh yeah, I forgot. This was a musical number song, so there was plot progression in this song." I
I
say that with
mean,
air quotes.
yeah. If anything, at this point, the song it has a problem. I think some other songs in the soundtrack has that it's retelling us information that literally just happened. Like this song happens the scene before where Velvet notices, oh, Carmilla's acting a little different since I brought out the angel's head. Oh, how come you guys don't want to fight? Come on, now we're overlords. And just basically like this whole musical number could have been the whole meeting. Like imagine like the scene opens with all the overlords going in on a meeting, and all the overlords could have like little parts here and there of like singing about what they do and like what's going on, and then Velvet comes bursting in with her like dubstep, hip hop, whatever music overtaking all of them and their instrumentals. That would have been so banger.
Yeah. This the whole setup in general bothers the crap out of me because again, this is supposed to be a musical. No one else is, like doing anything. They're just sitting there. Everyone is just sitting there and I'm like, that's fine. You can sit there, but do something. Do something. This is a musical number. This world works in musical whatever for some like you know how some musical shows are like they just immediately go into it. They don't even question it. That's just their reality.
Yeah, and especially for this world of hell where Lilith empowered all of demonkind with her songs, so you would think they'd be more inclined to sing and express their feelings through song. So,
Exactly. But they don't do that. Like no one really interacts in the songs like I would imagine them to, but I get it. The characters are really hard to animate, so let's just have them sit there and do nothing. And like yeah, the song is good. I like that it's a completely different sound than what we've been getting.
mhm.
Yeah, there is tones of pop, but this is more like what is
Yeah,
that? Like
like Carmilla's Spanish guitar strumming in. Oh,
yeah,
so good.
if they'd kept that up, because I noticed that they drop it later. If they'd kept that up, that would have been really cool to have, again, two different types of music battling each other. I wish I could remember what kind of genre Velvet it has in the background, because I know it's not exactly pop. It's like, I guess punk pop, I guess you would call it, but more
A
like
little a bit
like
of like
emo. I don't know.
I want to say hip hop or some had a lot of heavy bumps, so like percussion heavy, I guess.
Yeah. You can tell that they're doing a lot of like Hamilton inspired stuff because I can hear it in my head. Like as soon as it starts up, because I can't help it. Like as soon as it starts up and she starts going, I'm like, why do I feel like I've heard this song before? And I'm like, oh, it's giving Hamilton vibes. That's why. Okay, I get what they're doing. They're doing one of those like fast talk battle song situations. Fine. But yeah, it kind of drops the ball because Velvet just repeats the entire thing that she just said like not 2 minutes ago.
Right.
And
And
it's
it,
like the build up could have been different. There could have been a different way for Velvet to say what she needed to say and then start the song, or she could have said what she said in the song but then sang something different than what she said, like go more off of the angel thing, like would have been nice, instead of just the head part. Like there's a lot.
true. True. And I don't know. It does. Although it does imply that the group of the V's, are a much younger generation of overlords compared to like Carmilla and the rest of them who are older. I like that clash. I like that ideal of like young and old overlords clashing. But like again, even with that, that went nowhere long term or throughout the rest of the season because the
Yeah.
visuals were not as yeah. I like Velvet's little strut at the end there, but I don't know. Some of the
Yeah.
ladies don't have nothing really cool going on visual wise. Like especially if you compare this to Stayed Gone, where you have two characters at each other's throats, back and forth, back and forth. Compared to Stayed Gone, they were giving nothing for this one.
Yeah. Especially Carmilla, and I'm like, you're the weapons dealer and you're just sitting there. Yes, queen, give us nothing. Just like come on, do something.
Give us nothing. Oh, right. And then later she gives us a little too much, but hmm,
Yeah.
it's hard to say. Like I do like that this whole scene just needed a revision. Honestly, it would have been tighter. I
Yeah,
still love
it
the
really
song though.
did. Yeah, I still love the song. I love the back and forth between them. I feel like this song lyrically is really good. There's a lot of good rhymes. There's a lot of like good change ups, which is nice. It's just the setup and the ending. And a little bit
Yeah.
of the music, like Carmilla's background music should have been incorporated a tiny bit more, you know. But whatever.
Mhm. Yeah, well, again with the front loading of syllables, the whole "you better show some respect, check your behavior." It didn't have to start off with "you better show some respect." It could have been like "show some respect." You could have cut a couple of syllables there so it'd be less clunky at the start. I kind of wish Velvet had the last word.
Same. I just there's a lot, like the song is really good. It's just the execution fails it just a little bit.
Yes,
I'm like,
queen,
maybe if
give
the
us nothing.
animation maybe if the animation was a little bit more, like more background or more interaction, like actually have Velvet and Carmilla actually, get Carmilla up on the table. It's her building. She can do whatever she wants.
Like if Velvet was more interacting with everyone else aside from like Zestial, like especially when
Yeah.
she said the line like "I could eat you lot for breakfast," looking at Alistair and Rosie the cannibals.
Yeah. Or like have Carmilla's daughters actually interact. I mean, that would have helped.
Background singers.
Yeah, they could have been background singers. They could have tried to get up and like beat the shit out of her, because that's their mom, which would have led into the next song, like
Show that she is protective of her children, or like the kids trying to like hold back their mom. That kind of would have been cool.
yeah, show some kind of like hidden dynamic between the two. Like they don't need to talk to each other, but you can show like how they respond to each other with their body, like
Body language, character acting.
yeah, but none of that happens. We all mostly just focus on Velvet, and it's like that's fine, this is Velvet's song. However, technically it's Carmilla's because she started it.
She started it. She was singing it.
Yeah, I'm like, you started this song. You're just letting her sing and walk all over you? No. No.
Quite respectless indeed. Which I'm surprised is an actual word. Respectless? At first I was like, is that a word? Is that an actual... I look it up. Oh, it is a word. Touche. Touche.
Yeah.
But... What... At least Carmilla kind of gets it's a kind of better song in whatever it takes, but we just met her to be giving her a power ballad that's kind of
goes nowhere.
Mirror duet with Vaggie. I mean, I guess on one hand it kind of goes later on with like episode 7 with her training Vaggie and Out for Love, but we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, an arms dealer who wants to keep blood off her hands and keeps her kids safe, but also kids are the main ones on the front lines delivering the weapons. Contradiction?
Yeah, make it make sense.
There's just too much contradiction. Like the songs contradict so much from the actual show and the narrative that it conflicts, it contradicts, and it confuses and
Yeah. Yeah. And everyone's gonna hate me for this. I don't like the song. I have tried so hard to like, find something to genuinely enjoy, but I don't like it. I don't like the song.
I like it in theory, but in reality, it's just a parallel of two strong Latinas who want to protect their loved ones, and that's fine. That's cool, but
Yeah.
We just met Carmilla, and as much as I do like her and I like her design, I don't know enough about her. I barely know enough about Vaggie, and okay, something that bugged me about Vaggie's line of like, "You made me feel like a stranger in a brand new place."
You are.
You are a stranger in a brand new place when you met Charlie. Like, is that in a good way?
I don't know.
That's just a weird line.
There's a lot of weird, like, yeah, there's a lot of weird lines that later on it's like, and I know that was probably their way of like hinting that Vaggie's an angel, and I'm like, you already ruined it with the promo pictures. I don't even know what.
Yeah, like her line, but there's so much I wished that I could say. Like, oh, okay, there's more that she wish she could tell Charlie, but for some reason she can't, and that's interesting.
Yeah.
Visual wise,
yeah.
Sorry. Visual wise, it's okay.
So boring.
Yeah. I hate how
And I
they
don't
keep
know what
changing Vaggy's ex front and center.
yeah, and I don't know what their obsession is with Vaggie constantly getting on that ship, because that's like maybe her second or third time up there, and I'm like, okay, I get it. We spent a lot of money on the hotel looking nice and all that, but please stop putting her there. There's not much else she can do besides get up on that top whatever thingy is called. I don't know ship terms. But all she can do is get up there, grab the rope, and just like, oh, I'm dangling. That's all she can do. That's all she can do up there. I'm like, she can't dance. She can't do anything. I'm like, Pearl in Steven Universe in her It's Over Anyway managed to do an entire dance routine on one of those hotel balconies.
Balconies,
She
yeah, on
made
the
it work.
railings. Yeah.
If you're gonna have a character stuck in a specific spot where they can't go anywhere and they can't like, really express themselves the way they need to, you gotta make them dance or at least find creative ways to do it. Because even when they couldn't make Pearl dance the entire time, she just slammed her ass on the glass and looked at the sky. I'm like, you could have done that instead of constantly having Vaggie here over the ledge and just screaming out into the night. I'm like, there's a lot of visuals that could have been done here, but we didn't do that. We just did the same visual over and over and over again.
And like the build up to Vaggie getting on top of like the pirate ship thing, that could have been utilized better for that. Like
Yeah.
she climbs up the hotel, runs across like a beam, and then jumps onto it, and she's just stuck there.
Yeah.
And Carmilla's just belting out the window while like holding her kids and stuff.
Yeah. And like there's not enough, like the start, when Zestiel and Carmilla start up, that's fine, that's where we are. That's the location we're in. And then her hugging her kids, that's fine. All of that is fine because, body language, they're setting up whatever they want to set up that, nothing happens with it anyway. But the setup is fine because of the main premise of the song. However, it's when we get to Vaggie, does like the visuals and the theatrics kind of fall flat. Like they're not doing anything.
It's giving nothing. Go girls, give us nothing yet again.
Just and then I don't know what it is, and I've been looking for like months now, but the song sounds so familiar. Like I can hear the actual song that this song is like using as inspiration, I'm gonna assume. But like I'm like, this song sounds too familiar. It sounds way too familiar from an existing song. I just can't find the song. I can hear it. I just can't find it.
To me, it just sounds like another like a power ballad.
It kind of is, and the song that I'm thinking of is kind of like a power ballad. It's just it sounds too familiar, like my nostalgia brain is kicking in. I can hear it, and I'm like, if I can find the song and compare the two, I feel like I'd feel a little bit better about it. But I'm like, it sounds too similar. There's not a lot of visuals happening, and I don't know anything about this other character, and I barely know anything about Vaggie realistically, because even in the live streams in the pilot, we don't know jack shit about Vaggie. Like, nothing.
I feel like we can kind of say the same about Charlie when you think about it, because even if the hotel fails, she still has money. She still has a girlfriend. Boo-hoo, I'm sad my people are still... You're the princess! You aren't doing anything to help, like, the environment. Lucifer at least has the excuse of being a depressed sack of sadness. Okay, he's not doing anything because he's too depressed to do anything to help hell. What are you doing to help, like, the economy of hell, the living environment? Come on!
Yeah, I find it so funny that Charlie hasn't done other things. It'd have been really interesting if she mentioned like, oh, I've tried this or I've tried that, like she's done all these things to try and make hell a better place, but it's all like been ruined or, didn't get off the ground the way she hoped, or there could have been a lot of things that could have, like you said, Charlie could have done that would have given her more interesting character background, I guess.
And that's why the hotel is so important to her, because it's like the last stance, the last thing she
Yeah.
could do to finally help or whatever. But moving on from whatever it takes, Poison.
I've been avoiding
Yeah.
I've been avoiding any of those songs, to be honest, because I'm like, I understand everybody chooses to hear what they want to hear, or they, you know, obviously music is subjective. You know,
Mhm.
people can hear a lyric and feel a different way, and then someone else can hear the same lyric and take it a completely different way.
Oh yeah.
When I first heard the song, because remember, if I don't know if anybody remembers, but the song did come out before the show did, so I listened to
Mhm.
that before the show. So I had no idea that any of the background info that went into that song was happening. So I'm just gonna do it from a song point of view, because
Same.
narratively
Yeah.
and all that other stuff, I don't want to. I don't want to
I
talk about it.
I think narratively it's another example of like respectless. It just repeats stuff we kind of already know or stuff that already happened. Like what's happening with Valentino and Angel Dust.
Yeah.
Obviously not in a good situation for Angel, and it's damaging him. So, and we already see the not so funny thing is we see that terrible relationship before the music video, like in the dressing room scene, and afterwards, and how it affects Angel post music video. So it's like the song in the middle is like putting a hat on top of a hat.
Yeah. Yeah, in a way, yeah. I guess mostly because this is like an inner thoughts kind of song, similar to Attic. Like Attic was an inner thought song.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it makes sense for Angel to rethink everything that we saw, because most of what we saw was visual versus everything that he's saying, because you know, it's it's weird because yeah, to the song and the visuals happening at the same time are basically repeating each other, but they're repeating each other in a different way.
Yeah.
Which is fine, you know, like the visuals can set it up, which is fine, you know, that makes sense. And then we have Angel who's like, I'm gonna drive it home so you guys understand 100% what is going on. Because you know how people can be sometimes. They can see a visual and just be like, huh? So the song isn't bad, you know, like the setup isn't bad, the song isn't bad. Uh,
Yeah, I do love the transition into it. It was really well done there. And
yeah.
Angel putting on that having to put it on the front cuz cameras are on, got to put on my fake smile and persona to get through it
Yeah.
all. I love the ending of it, like how he uh sounds like so heartbroken and just so sick of everything. I love that. And I wish we saw more of that from the song, because while I understand what they were going for, and it was communicated, whether some people understood it or not, or took it in a completely different light, whatever. But oh no, not whatever. But point is, I wish we saw more of an like Angel's perspective of this is who I am and this is the situation I'm in, and the whole last lyric of hoping to live for something for tomorrow. What does he want to live for tomorrow? Like in Disney
Yeah.
songs, they have their "I Want" song. Hercules wants to go from zero to hero. Ariel wants to be a part of our world. It's like, why? What does he want aside from like getting out of here? What does he hope to get out? Since we know he has a sister. Well, we don't know as the audience unless you look through the wikis and you have that history.
Yeah.
He has a sister in heaven. That could have been a connection. That could have been like, I don't know, wanting to reconnect with his family. Something as simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a little bit of my issue as well. I'm like, I like, you know, I understand the visuals in the song. They're supposed to tell the story that it's telling for Angel's perspective, but again, yeah, I wish there was more to like what Angel hopes to get out of, you know, like we know what he's getting currently, but it would be nice to see like what he hopes for later. Obviously, that might mess up the message of the song in general if you show like I don't know. The I'm trying to think of like how this could be animated, how this could be rewritten, how this could like have both aspects of like this is what's happening now. You know, I'm playing the part that I want to play, but this is what I would like to do if I didn't have to, you know, cuz Angel could dissociate during most of this and like think of, you know, happier things, but we don't know what he's really thinking about in general. We don't know it until later when he tells Husk, but it's just like yeah, there could have been sprinkles here and there of like, what is it that Angel could want? What is it that Angel thinks he'll do once this is all over? Or, you know, we could have even gotten, sorry.
You finish.
Like, we technically could have gotten like a prequel kind of situation in the song where we see what Angel was like before he met Valentino, and he wants to go back to that, you know.
That's exactly That's exactly what I'm fucking saying here. Like, how did he get into this situation with Val? Where did it stem from? Was he manipulated? Was he on hard times? Because that's fascinating. Because no one just gets in this kind of a situation because there's like a reason, and that reason or that background is what would make us care about him and hope and wanting to see him out of it, as anyone in that kind of a situation. But I will say, like, there's 2 lines in this whole song that really bugs me because I just don't understand, or it's just weird. Like the first line, I'm not above love to cash in. I don't understand that. That doesn't make sense to me. What does that mean?
Yeah, somebody explain that, because I'm not that smart of trying to figure what that could mean.
I've seen like people try to explain it as like always he'll cash in his good looks or like sacrifice love for money or whatever. I don't know. It was just a weird starting line, and I get it was mainly there for the rhyme of flashing lights and whatever, but the line of filling up my glass, but it's always hollow. Glasses are not hollow. That visually fucks with me because you're filling up your glass, but it's always hollow. Glass is not a glass is not hollow. You're mixing metaphors, and that's stupid. I'm sorry, but that lyric it doesn't make sense. I understand that what it was going for, that like he feels empty. He's always like drinking, but he feels empty inside. It's like that I get, but that line is it's so stupid. It's so stupid. I hate it.
Yeah. I mostly tune out most of what he says. I'm mostly listening to the background noise because I'm like, I like this bubblegum rock punk situation going on in the background.
Yeah, it's a very upbeat, kind of poppy song, but when listening to the lyrics, I kind of like that too. That the instrumental is very upbeat and like energizing, but listening to the lyrics, that he's sad and it's hurting him. It's like when you listen to songs and not realizing, oh, that's what this song is actually about. Like Pumped Up Kicks. I didn't know that song was about school shooters. I didn't know until looking back at the lyrics. I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, there's a bunch of songs that I'm like, that's really what that means? Damn, I used to listen to this when I was like 14.
Yeah, there's a lot of songs for that example. Like Hey Ya from Outkast. That song's basically about a breakup song. Yeah. It's so upbeat, people aren't paying attention to the lyrics. Damn, I wonder how many minds we blew with that one.
Probably a lot, or people who already knew, like, I already knew that.
Good for you, Susan! I didn't know, okay?
But yeah, I still really like the song and the message, or my version of the message. I know a lot of people can take the message in a different way, so my version of message, I do like. It's just later that I don't like, and I know everyone's gonna hate me for that one.
Yeah, and speaking of messages, the next song, Loser Baby, I have my gripes with it. Yeah. Vocally, I do like how the voices of Keith and Blake, they do play off well each other. I kind of
Yeah.
feel like Keith was holding back or wasn't directed as well because I know that man. I know this man can sing. Let him sing. But
But you gotta remember,
eh,
he's not a spring chicken anymore.
he's an uncle at best. He's not grandpa yet.
Like, how old is he? What is his
I think he's in
actual age?
his 50s. I want to say.
I feel
He
like
got
that's
some.
wrong.
I want to say that's right. He got some grays though.
Keith Davis. No, come on. Age. Man, it's giving me like white people. That's not.
That's not Keith David. That's not my Goliath. That's not my president from Rick and
He's
Morty.
67 years old.
He looks black. Don't crack.
I know, right? But yeah.
He looks so good.
But I've grown up with a lot of like old country stars, and when I hear them today versus when I heard them back then, I can hear the difference. So I can hear the difference with Keith sometimes, and I'm like, I guess it's just because he's getting older, so his voice is changing a little bit. I mean, he obviously can still sing very clearly. It makes like you said, him and Blake are doing really well. They are doing really well. It's just you can tell that Keith is, not keeping up as much as he probably could.
Yeah, but the mess. Okay, I don't like how call it nitpicky or whatever, or censorship. I don't like how there is swears at the top of the song because I feel like that you could have used different syllables counts for that. Your whole existence seems fucking hopeless. It kind of just fumbles the rhythm for me.
Yeah. Yeah, there are a few parts where I'm like, okay, the rhythm is you're killing me. Stop it. They do really good and then it falls, and then they do really good and then it falls, and I'm like, ugh. There's a reason certain words aren't used in sentences during songs.
Yeah, and imagine listening to this song but a censored version. You just hear bleeps.
Oh heck yeah.
Yeah. And at first, I liked the start of it, of Husk, they're Angel Dust. It's like, everything sucks. Doesn't everything suck? It sucks because you're a loser, but hey, I'm a loser too. We both sold our souls to overlords. That sucks for us. But it's not the same for you, Husk. That's not like, that's like comparing someone who I gotta stop using overdramatic comparisons to make my point. But to make my point and to be overdramatic about it, that's like comparing someone who got into you got two people who went into accidents. One person wound up with just a broken leg, but they'll heal and get better, but still have kind of that stigmatism. They'll be fine, but they're still broken. Not broken. They're still damaged. Meanwhile, someone else could be in a wheelchair for the rest of their life. It's not the same, dude.
Yeah. Like, I understand the message now that people have explained it to me, which I'm like, okay, well, I took it a completely different way, so I'm going to stick with that because that's just me personally. That's how I feel. But I will take your explanation, and I do understand it. So I get it. I get that Husk is like, I'm a loser, you're a loser, let's be losers together, let's be friends. Or, like, I understand your struggle because everyone is going through the same thing, or, like, it's one of those, let me pat you on the back and tell you that everything's going to be okay and that, I understand where you're coming from. Which is fine, that's, And I get it, some other people were explaining, oh, Husk is being mean because that's what Angel needs. And I'm like, okay. Agree to disagree on that one, but okay, I can see your point a little bit.
A lot of people too, and even I at the start was feeling that like it kind of felt like Husk was gaslighting Angel Dust by calling him a loser because it's like you don't call someone a loser that after going through what they're going through. And I get that Husk is just trying to relate to Angel, but I feel like Angel would have a better time coping with other people within, other people who are also controlled under Val. Because now it's like, are we supposed to think that Valentino is as bad as Alistair?
Yeah, that's where I always have a little bit of issue with the song in general, because I'm like, I understand the message, I understand what they're trying to do. It's the little things that kind of shoot it in the foot, because now people are gonna try and compare Val and Alistair were like, oh, they're the same. I'm like, not really. One's a serial killer that eats people, and the other one does some pretty shitty things too, but he doesn't. I mean, I think he kills people too, but he doesn't eat them.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
He does. He crosses that line that a lot of people do not see. That like, no, there's no way you can be redeemed after that. No way. No way. No how. No
Yeah.
Val. And just the line of like, oh, that's again where the part of the song I get confused because when Husk is telling Angel like, "Hey, it's okay to be a," and Angel finishes like a,
Yeah.
suck it, huh? It's like, hey, baby, if you want to be like, but is that what he wants to be, or is that who he needs to be for Valentino? And that's the part that gets me angry, and that's the part where I get confused, and that's the part where I just flail about.
Yeah. Because we don't know exactly, like, how much is Angel and how much is Valentino's influence, or, like, how much is Angel just coping with the, all this kind of stuff. They just kind of throw it in our face really quick, and it's like, we're just supposed to sit with it, and I'm like, no, I'm going to think about it a little bit, because obviously this is character study. This is, I want to know why the character is acting the way they're acting, or like how this is going to affect them later on. Obviously, none of that ever happened.
No.
And what sucks is, this is supposed to be Angel's start song. Similar to It Starts With Sorry, this is supposed to be Angel's I'm going to change song. And it's like, this is a weird song to start changing.
Kind of awkward, bro. Very awkward.
Yeah, and then, it kind of implies, too, in this situation, that Angel doesn't have friends or a network outside of Val, or, it keeps trying to imply that Angel is all alone, and I'm like, Cherry is your friend. Call her. Does no one remember Addict? Does no one remember when Angel is on the bed crying and freaking out and Cherry being there for him the whole time? That's his friend.
Of course not. We didn't get introduced to her until 2 episodes later.
I know, and I hate that so much. I'm like, I get what they're trying to do. And there's so many things that they're trying to do, because one, this is Angel's start to redemption song. This is also his buddy buddy song with Husk, which is also kind of a twisting mix mash of their relationship in the future song as well. This is the start of their relationship. It's gonna happen, guys. But we gotta start them off as friends first. And I'm like, okay. And then, it's like there's too much happening, and then again, episodes later, it all gets contradicted because Cherry comes onto the scene, and we have Angel telling Cherry, "Oh, I was texting you all day." Da da da. It's like, well, then why weren't you texting her that day when Charlie came and visited you?
I still think that instead of Charlie, it should have been someone else. It should have not been the Princess of Hell, who could have literally ripped off that bug's wings. But instead, a sinner, someone lower than her, who would actually get intimidated and and who would have no power or authority to do anything.
Yeah. I honestly wish, I didn't mind that Charlie went to the studio. I wish Vaggie had gone with her. That's supposed to be her protector.
Yeah.
Why are you not coming with me? Hurry up. Get in the car. And I wish, the scene didn't drag on as long as it did. I know it was a setup to the start of the setup for the song, so that makes sense. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, I wish it was faster, and then I wish Charlie was the one that went to go check on Angel, because the whole situation was her fault.
For real. Instead of sending Husk to make Husker dust, planting seeds for that, hey, Charlie, maybe you can apologize, take some accountability.
Yeah, because he comes into the hotel and he immediately goes to the bar, and he's trying to forget everything that happened. It was a rough, right? After Charlie left, it was rough. She doesn't even really go up to him, I don't think. I'm trying to remember that scene in general.
No, she just tries to wave, but he doesn't see her, or he's so hurt that he just goes straight to the bar.
Yeah, and it's like, Charlie, get up, go over there and apologize. Like, I know
Yeah.
he's in a bad mood, so maybe, yeah, like, yeah, give him a few minutes or whatever. You know, like, it could have gone down where she waves, he ignores her, goes to the bar, and then Husk is
Mhm.
like, that was pretty rude or whatever, you know, like, she was just trying to help you. And then Angel's like, she doesn't need to know shit, pour my drink, I've had a day. And then,
Mm.
you know, like, Husk and Angel go back and forth about the whole situation. Like, Angel doesn't want to talk about it. Husk is trying to talk about it and, like, why can't you be a normal person and be a friend or whatever? And then, you know,
Mhm.
he freaks out and Charlie, like, tries to come over and, you know, calm down the situation. And he's like, don't talk to me. Everyone, stop ganging up on me. Stop attacking me. I shouldn't laugh. I shouldn't laugh. But you know, like, have him get overwhelmed by everybody trying to be nice and trying to help him, and then leave, and then
Yeah.
have have Vaggie go, "Well, that was productive. Look what you both did." And Husk is like, "Me? What did I do?" It's like, really? You kept badgering him, and then have Vaggie be the one that goes, "Both of you need to go find him and apologize
Mhm.
and fix the train wreck that you just created." Like, it would have been nice to have both Charlie and Husk, like, see Charlie and Husk's dynamic while they go and
Uh,
find Angel, and when they find Angel, try to, like, talk to him, apologize, get him to open up, and then, you know, have Angel have his new friend, which is Husk, and then have his moment with Charlie where he's like, you know, you kind of remind me a lot of my sister, so that's why I
oh,
put these airs around you, and da da da. You know, like,
right in the
more
feels.
character interaction, more hints to what makes them the way that they are, or the past coming up to haunt them sometimes. Because when you look at Charlie and you look at Molly, they look almost identical. Like, they share a lot of similarities, and I'm like, how Angel hasn't said anything or made any kind of comment is crazy to me, because I'm like, you're twins. That's your twin. That looking at Charlie is like looking at a part of you. You're just ignoring it.
Oh my gosh. The man, that sounds actually sweet.
Right? I'm like, this episode could have been really interesting if they included more than one character. I noticed that every time a character leaves the hotel, only one character goes after the other. And I'm like, 2-on-2 is fine. You know, you're having your one-on-ones, you're talking to each other, that's fine. But you gotta incorporate other characters as well. Like, you need to see how they work as a group or as a threesome. It doesn't need to just be two characters and then the whole seven cast, you know?
Right. Ugh.
Yeah.
And you
And
know
then I
what?
got
Oh no, you finish?
oh, another thing too that I kind of get irritated with is Angel and Serpentius could be friends as well. Like, I don't know why they don't
Yeah.
hang out or talk to each other. They had that whole thing in the last episode.
You'd think there'd be more camaraderie since like he was a little jealous, but like maybe him and Sir P could have like a brotherly kind of relationship of like, all right, let's try to redeem ourselves. Let's try to be better.
Yeah, like, they're both going through the same situation. You know, they could, like, learn from each other, but they never do. They don't talk to each other until, like, the last episode, so to speak.
Right. And since that was because we talked about the first 4 episodes, and by that distinction, 8 songs, and oh my gosh, we've already went over like an hour for that. I'm gonna have to like we're gonna have to do this in like 2 parts for the second half because I have so many fucking words to say about Hell's Greatest Dad. But I'm gonna cut off the recording here, and then we'll pick it right back up. I'll probably like dump this as like a 2-parter. Ooh, 2-parter. Stay
Partner.
tuned. Ah. Yeah, I'm gonna stop it here.
Okay.
Everyone can come back for part 2 when we discuss the second half of the song.